Yes, it's on time. Yes. It's over, folks. The toys have been delivered. I got the sleigh around, and it was fine. It was 40 below up there, and it was cold. It was an open cockpit. It was cold. The reindeer were farting, and it was harsh on me. And, you know, that rosy cheeks, that's me with frostbite, okay? Just want to let you know there's pain involved in this. But your toys are delivered, so I just want to let you know it's over, and I'm lost my powers, and those who got cold deserved it. That goes for you, Trump. Anyway, so that being said, and we're still almost on the way to a new year. We're still in the old year. However, I want to let you know it is the off night, and you people out there in that far off land know that it's going to be a great hour of, I don't know, old movies, old comics, and new old ideas. And conspiracy theories. Lots of them. All right. But please welcome Mr. Mark Sweetman, who is your host and MC.
Hey, and there's my bride, Susan Sweetman, with me. We all know what she does here at the beginning. Let's bring this up a little bit. Here's our music. All right, enough of that. All right, that didn't go off very smoothly like I hoped it would. All right, it's let me get Andy back on here. Hold on. All I have to do is there we go. There's my friend.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
So we always have Andy introduce us, and then we talk to Andy a little bit. So this is exciting. We haven't seen you in 4 weeks because
I've been doing.
Andy has a friend named Santa Claus.
Yes,
and
I've been his right hand man in the city of Taylor.
Ah, there we go.
Flying a sleigh in the city of Taylor. I've been helping out, taking photos, taking the kids' information, and giving it and relaying it to the man up there. Actually, Mrs. Claus. She's running the factory up there with the all the elves. So, yeah.
Now I got a question about your
kids.
Do you have an agent for that, or do you get those on your own?
I actually work for a company. It was how I got into Santa is basically I was driving cab for this place called a Yellow Cab back in the old days of Ann Arbor. It's now a defunct cab company, but I was sitting there and some guy pulled up to me and said, Hey, you look like Santa Claus. You want to work as a Santa Claus? So okay, I'll try it. So I went down in Toledo and I got an interview, and they basically said, "Hey, you could do Santa Claus," and that's how it started. From a conversation with a cab driver. He is out of it now because he was actually fired because he wanted to have his dog with him at the hotel. I don't know what's going on.
Was he blind?
What's that? I don't know what's going on. But I want to give you an example of how this works. So, you know, I was requesting a rental car, just so I could get from Ypsilanti to Taylor. Just so in July, Santa has no power because basically they said you're too close. You have to be like 50 miles or more away, and then we'll give you a car. I said, well, okay. Well, I 20 miles. I can't walk 20 miles. There isn't a train that goes with this. So anyhow, I ended up borrowing my brother's car for about a week, and of course, God love him, the muffler starts to come off. Okay, so I called the company again, and for some reason they said, okay, we'll give you the car. And I think what happened is two things happened. One, they had two Santa Clauses go wacko on them and left one of their sites. So one of them,
they covered that miracle on 34th Street.
Well, this is a miracle somewhere in up around like the west side of Michigan. Apparently, one of the Santas was basically in the Santa cave naked and hitting on the Santa workers.
Oh, jeez.
So there you go. And then, the managers are kind of like going like, well, he's just a little, out of his head because they couldn't find another Santa. That's basically it. And the other Santa,
is that an igloo, or are you just happy to see me?
Happy to see me. That's right. And the other Santa basically said, he kept, giving out free photos, and we get paid by the photos we do on the set. And so he just kept doing free photos, and they kept telling him, stop doing that. You're not making any money. Stop doing that. But he kept saying, I'm Santa. I'm Santa.
Did he say, damn it? You got to say, damn it.
I'm Santa. No, damn it. Don't you understand? I'm Santa.
I'm Santa, damn
We
it.
found out basically the guy actually believed he was Santa.
Oh no.
So
Oh,
they had
no.
they had to let him go. So they found so it became
Did
like
they
a
get him
draft
help?
situation.
Yeah. He's in a home now in red pajamas with bottoms that open in the back, right?
Yeah, it's always snow where he lives right now because white rubber room with a bunch of guys dressed in white. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So it's always snowing where he's at.
Well, God bless him.
But that's all it takes to get power. If you're 2 weeks into the Santa set and you need what you want, I seem like a normal investment to him at that time. Let's see. He seems normal. Wants to get to work. Seems wants to get there on time. Well, why don't we give him a car? Why not? It's a lunacy. Those are the types of lunacy things that happen. But I mean, I was like, that's just the normal everyday thing. Now, I did go to a Santa university for almost 2 days, and
Kind of like CPS workers, like an
that's
8-hour
right. I got my
class, yeah.
degree. I held on to my degree. I got my sheepskin in 2 days. And I learned a lot. Okay, but I learned a lot about the other Santas. There's other Santa. He was there, and it was like, so I'm kind of like thinking, he's like from like Texas, so he like didn't know where the place was, and then he started to talk to me about stuff, and he was like, he had like very long beard, but he also had a lot of tattoos around his neck and stuff like that. Talking really, yeah, man, I was kind of worried about what's going on, and so I get trapped in the back of a cab heading to the airport with him, and he starts to explain to me that I'm really looking forward to this. I'm gonna be down in Texas, man. We're looking forward to this because I have a girlfriend, man. She's a stripper, and she's really good. I'm gonna have her to the place, man. We're gonna get all the kind of stuff, and not only that, I'm gonna have her mother too. They're both attracted to me, man. So I'm gonna have them both together at the same time.
Ooh.
Like, did they do a background check on you? And I'm going like, all these people have had background checks. I'm going, I had a background check. Where are these background checks? You know what I mean?
Well, for something to show up in a background check, something had to have happened previously.
I know. Was it so they just go to the Santa set and go crazy or something like this?
Yeah, maybe.
If
Nothing ever happened before, the background check, there has to be a first time for that whatever that shows up in the background check.
Like Lenny Bruce used to say, no, before there's a law, there has to be a problem.
Well, that's true. There's some guy named Floyd up there at the headquarters kind of like, they look okay. He's got a beard.
Yeah, he's got a beard. He's got tattoos, but it's covered by the beard. So
it's covered by the beard. He's got a good looking beard. He's fine.
Let me hear you say ho.
You're talking about my girlfriend, man.
Yeah, not that way. We meant the ho ho.
Ho ho. Okay. All right. Ho ho ho. All right.
All right. Yeah. Well, now you're not always in Southgate. One time you were at 12 Oaks.
Yeah.
And then one time you were down in the Carolinas, I think. How do you get all these different?
Well, it's through a company. The company has like 200 different malls that they supply.
Okay.
So we're the natural bearded Santas.
Now are
you Don Draper of Santas? Thank you.
Now having this spot in the mall at the time when it is like keep it in the black time. Nobody makes money until between Thanksgiving and Christmas anymore. Are you seeing the malls declining like everybody says they are?
They are. The malls are dropping off like flies.
Wow.
I would say that, there are some malls that are just expanding, like the 12 Oaks Mall is just rockets, just constant stuff going on there. But they've got, building, factories going up there. They got like all these different communities, and it's all like, a ton of kids up there. So that mall is going to be constantly just busy. But Southland is like, the nickname for the Southland Mall is the Hillbilly Mall.
Yeah.
The nickname for the Fairlane Mall is the Ghetto Mall. And it's like, because, I did one day at Fairlane with this one woman from last year who was fired finally, but she was like crazy. She was absolutely crazy. She would go off if a dog came into the mall. She would go off and run after the dog. And just leave me on the set alone. It's like, who does that? And it's like, and she'd come in with like these wild hair. One time she came with spike hair, and That's how she had it shaved off one side, the other. It's like, okay, I get it. You're representing a company of some sort, just let me understand this, okay? But she was a crazy saloon, and she had more smoke breaks, and we got a smoke break every hour. Oh, and then the recent addition to the Santa line is contact high. So you have parents coming in smelling like the worst weed possible. They're gonna go, hey kid, hey, focus. Look up here, sir. You're looking in a mirror. That's not your kid. You're looking in a mirror. We go, kids in the seat.
So what do you think about telling these stories in an interview format as Santa Claus? Do that for the New Year. Do that as a bit for the New Year's show.
Oh, that would be very fun.
Because we're looking for time killers. We're doing a 4.5-hour show, so we're looking.
I got about 20. I got a bunch of stuff. I'm going to work on it this whole week. I've got as the fact that I'm not working, and I don't have a car anymore. I'm basically going to be. I'm going to apply my time to putting together this Santa bit.
All right, do that. All right, cool. All right,
but I will tell you
if it doesn't all come together as a bit, as one piece,
you can have
what I'm thinking about
Mark,
is I'm thinking about interviewing.
The Carson Sweetman interview you.
Yeah, interview you
in between sets.
Yeah, well, I'll just make one. I'll just say we have a special guest tonight. He rarely makes these.
Co-host.
Yeah, he rarely makes it. Well, I've already got Wes and Lisa for my for the other MCs for the night. But we can put you on there as a spec. I'd rather have you do a set as Andy and do a separate interview as Santa.
Oh, okay.
I don't think, and I think people are sophisticated enough to figure out it's you. I'm not worried about that. I just think it's going to be. We'll just use our improv skills and come up with something very funny about that during the interview.
So I'm Andy now.
Exactly.
And now
I'm Santa. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And I could bring two hats, and I could be Mark now, and then I could be.
Well, I do have a fake beard, so I got to put the fake beard over it, and that would even make it look better.
Yeah, you could do that too.
Okay. All right.
Or change the glasses. I don't know.
I'll see what I can do. I do have some glasses.
All right. Well, we're already a quarter into the show, so let's
get the other guys out.
Let's get to Susan. Let's do Susan's poem first, and then we'll get the other guys out.
You don't have to go anywhere.
Oh no, I'm gonna. No, he. I tell you where he's gonna go. You'll still be on audio, but your picture's going out here.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Santa toured the world in a sleigh-pulled streak, but news in our world is still quite bleak. Paul Whelan in Russia feels left behind in jail. Unfathomable. Biden's release attempts are a big fail. Day 671 of the Ukraine war, while the death toll in Gaza grows even more. Against Hamas, Israel increases the force, and Netanyahu tells soldiers to stay the course. Opportune germs abound, we all should know. Prepare for future pandemics, says the WHO. This year, the pay gap for women shrunk a tiny bit more. Wishing you all a happy 2024.
Hey, Susan Sweetman, our poet.
Bring everybody out.
I'm going to bring everybody out. Hold on just a second. Let me get Andy's back with us, and then I'm going to do it in seniority order here. The second longest guest we've had here has been Sam Greenfield from New York. Welcome, Sam.
Can you see that tree?
I love it. I love it.
Ho, ho, ho.
I love Christmas trees and
I'm going to tell you something. Nothing keeps an audience glued to this show more than listening to a Santa Claus who doesn't have a job or a car.
I have a sleigh. I have a sleigh.
The declining state of malls in central and eastern Michigan.
I have a sleigh.
The folks in Benton Harbor could not be torn away.
I know. I have a sleigh.
Now, Sam.
Sam, you know what they say in The Lion King for Christmas? Hanukkah Katana.
I think that's Swahili for blow me, but I'm not sure.
Where's Where's Jason?
Jason's here. We'll bring let's get Jason out of here. Hold on.
Yeah, come on,
The
guys.
show's a third over,
That's
and
right.
Mark's finally bringing in
Get
everybody.
Jason out of the closet. Yeah, just
Well, it
What
looks
now?
like, well, with that lighting, I think you're still
That ship
in it,
is
you know?
sailed, I believe.
Yeah,
Katana.
but all the sailors aboard have yet to meet my. Hold on. There you go. All right, guys, here we are. Yeah, this lighting. Yeah, this is perfect lighting for.
If Jason was any more out of the closet, he'd be in Narnia.
Hello.
You'd be in Macy's at least. All
Well,
right.
that's not the first fairy tale I've traipsed through. So
Ladies
there
and
you go.
gentlemen,
I am sure there's been more than one gay fella that said, I am not out of the closet. I am out of the wardrobe.
There you go.
You
I
know,
saw.
just-
Well, I was watching Jeopardy tonight in training,
Uh-huh.
and this woman, the category was female Oscar winners, and I could not believe this woman did not get this. I mean, if you're on Jeopardy, you should know this.
right.
This 3-time Oscar winner, the first time she won, thanked her son Pedro and her husband Joel.
I should know this.
I want to say Rita Moreno, but I don't think
Who is someone associated with films named Joel, who's married to a female Oscar winner?
I can only say Meryl Streep for some reason.
How about Frances McDormand?
Oh, got it.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Joel
Oh,
Cohen,
yes.
Ethan Cohen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
I should have
Yeah.
known that. Yes.
She's won 3 times already.
Yeah, she won
Wow.
for Nomadland. She
Yeah.
won for 3 Billboards Outside Billings, and she
Fargo.
won for Fargo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking
I
of
can see
Fargo,
that.
the 5th season is fantastic.
Oh, by the way, I saw 2 movies this weekend that I strongly recommend.
Oh, okay.
One
What?
is Maestro,
All right.
and the other one is a movie that may not make a lot of money, but I'm begging you to see it. It's one of the most bizarre and wonderful movies I've ever seen. It's called Poor Things, and it's
Oh,
Never
with
heard
Emma
of it.
Stone, and you won't recognize her. You will not recognize her. It's a very, very bizarre and terrific movie.
Bizarre, like David Lynch bizarre, or
Bizarre by any standards you'd like to establish.
Yeah.
okay. So Poor
Poor
Things.
as in P-O-U-R or P-O-O-R?
Poor like in I'm out of money.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Poor
All right,
Thing.
there you go.
It's terrific. Willem Dafoe is in it. Mark
Oh,
okay.
Ruffalo.
All
Mark
right.
Ruffalo in a complete departure for him in a movie. And a great script, and it's just amazing.
Well,
Willem
if it's got
Dafoe is
Dafoe in
Willem
it.
Dafoe is one of those actors that picks such good projects. I watch a film even if he's got a small part in it, just because he seems to pick really good.
This is a reasonably large part, but it just doesn't matter. This is a film. I mean, you can see Maestro on Netflix, but this is a
Yeah.
movie you have to see. It's that good.
Well,
In fact, I would as great as Maestro was, and it was.
Yeah.
I recommend this over that.
Oh, okay.
let's say Willem Dafoe has a fairly large part, so I mean that.
Yeah,
Kinda-
he
kinda-
does.
He
and
does.
a very bizarre part.
Yes, but
But it's a bizarre movie.
well,
Did you see it, Jason?
not yet. No, but
It's really something.
I was watching some interviews with Willem Dafoe, believe it or not, over Last Temptation of Christ, because why would I see anything that had been out in the last 30 years? But he did some great interviews and some promos for that movie, which I think kind of has been overlooked, and it's a great film, but yet it got a lot of terrible backlash. I mean, the Catholics were not down with this movie.
Well, they have to calm down and concentrate a little bit more on the probing fingers of Brother Raymond.
Wasn't there a scene of Jesus with Mary Magdalene?
Yeah,
She was
played by
having sex?
Barbara Hershey, by the way.
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
great.
The essential thrust of the movie.
I
is
believe
that-
if I was Christ, I would have said, "Please, somebody the status of Barbara."
Yeah, well, the idea was that Jesus was given a temptation and he came off the cross and lived as a normal man.
Boy,
And-
that had
and-
to hurt.
Yeah, that's why it's Barbara Hershey. It had to be somebody that would have been a temptation. You can't cast.
I saw a film.
You're not.
that-
I heard they want to do Rosie O'Donnell, but they turned her
Barbara
down.
Hershey.
Yeah.
Barbara Hershey's done more than one biblical film. She did one where she played Sarah, Abraham's wife.
Okay.
Wasn't
And,
that the movie The Bible
maybe,
with
but
George C.
she was
Scott?
great.
No,
She played from young to,
With George C. Scott,
the Egyptian
What did
pharaoh
George C.
hitting
Who
on
did
her.
George C. Scott play?
Oh yeah.
he played Abraham.
Isaac. He was
No, I don't remember
Isaac
that.
though?
You need somebody like Barbara Hershey because that Egyptian pharaoh was hitting on the real Sarah when she was like 65 years old. So she
Well,
must have been super hot.
Yeah, if you'd
I
made it
think
to
George C. Scott was
65
playing
back then.
Isaac, wasn't he?
Well, Abraham
He
was
was-
the
he
father.
was
Was
sick.
Abraham the father?
Abraham
Yes.
and Sarah had Isaac, and Sarah was in her 90s.
Was Abraham the father?
Yes.
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 Then
Okay.
George C. Scott played Abraham.
Because he was
Yeah.
going to kill Isaac. That's right. Okay.
Yes. But they had
Yeah,
I
I
Isaac.
can't
remember George
remember
C.
him, but I remember how good Barbara Hershey was in the role.
Okay.
Terrific. Well, you saw her in The Natural, where she
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Was
She
she
was
in The
terrific.
Natural?
She
Nice.
was playing the psychotic woman that stabbed,
That shot.
that shot,
Robert
Roy
Roy.
Hobbs.
yeah, Roy Hobbs.
By the way, that's kind of based on a real story. There was a baseball player, I think for the Phillies, named Ferris Fain, and a woman stabbed him. A groupie stabbed him. So it was kind of based on that. Although Ferris Fain lived, so did Roy Hobbs for that matter. But and then why did you stab him? I really love him. And they went, okay, see this room? See this room over here? You're going to be bouncing off the walls because it's rubber.
You're going to be playing Santa Claus next year. Come over here.
I
Exactly.
heard a great baseball story this last week since we saw it was it was written, but it was quoting Willie Mays, talking about facing Satchel Paige. Have you heard this story before?
No,
No.
I like it.
So the first time he faces Satchel, so this would have been when Willie Mays would have been a rookie in like the last year Satchel Paige was pitching. And of course he pitched till he was like 48 or 49 years old. So it's like a 22 or 23-year-old Willie Mays against a 47 or 48-year-old Satchel Paige. And the first time Willie Mays gets up there, he hits a double to center field. And the second time he gets up, Satchel Paige starts calling out the pitches he's going to throw him. He tells him what he's going to throw and where he's going to place it, and he struck him out in 3 pitches, throwing the pitches he said he was going to pitch.
Larry Bird used to do that. There's this whole series of things I see on Facebook where all these African American players so admire Larry Bird. They go, I can't believe he's white. There's a famous story that Larry Bird went up to the bench of the opposing team, and he said to the coach, you're disrespecting me. And he goes, no. I said, you're putting a white guy on me. What kind of respect is that? I'm going to tune him up. And then there was I can't remember the player's name, but he was a fairly well-known player. And it was 1989. And the guy said to Larry Bird, I haven't seen you haven't hit a 3 since 84. So the game starts, and Larry Bird goes, okay, this is going to bounce off the left side of the backboard and in for a 3. Bang. Okay, this one's going to be a fake. I'm going to run up. I'm going to put it underneath and over. Bang. And he does this like 8 times, right? And at the end of it, he sunk 5 threes in a row. And he says to the kid who talks shit, oh, it's like 84, ain't it?
Somebody did a film of all the players that played when Larry Bird played or played against him. A couple of guys that played with him, but mostly the guys that played against him. It's either on Netflix or ESPN or something.
He talks so much. No one talked more trash than Larry Bird.
Yeah, well, that's what this was about. But they don't have Larry Bird at all in this thing. It's everybody talking about Larry Bird and what he said, and then they had the clips to back it up. So one guy was talking about he came over to our bench and said, we got this game. You guys don't even have to come out on the floor. We got this. I'm so confident we're going to win this game. I'm going to shoot all my free throws left-handed.
Yes.
And then they showed the clips of him shooting the free throws left-handed.
And he did.
And he made
them. And he made them.
My father got to see, I know I'm going back here, but he got to see Satchel Paige because Satchel Paige at one point in time was touring the country with a 3-man baseball team.
Barnstorm.
It was him, a catcher, and some guy in the outfield.
So a center fielder.
Yeah,
right.
and he'd show up and he'd take on whatever local team and just pitch their lights out.
He made more money than anybody in the Negro Leagues. He made a lot of he made for that time a lot of money. Oh, here's a story. He's pitching for the St. Louis Browns, I think. Yeah, and Phil Rizzuto hits a triple, and Rizzuto is dancing off of third base, and Satchel Paige looks over to him and says, "Save your energy. You're not coming home." And he struck out the side.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my goodness. Well, whole time baseball.
He said a line, Satchel Paige. They said, if you, I'm trying to remember who he was talking about.
We can talk about the House of David guys.
Oh, sure.
All right.
I thought you were on that team.
I am. Yeah, I had like I got. I'm there. I got the.
I'm told I have to grow
jersey.
mine. I'm told I have to grow mine 3 more. I have to grow mine 3 more years, and I have to learn how to do pepper against the wall.
There we go.
Was it that famous thing that they had in Major League Parks, no pepper?
No pepper, yeah. You know why they did that?
No.
Well, because a part of the game of pepper is you hit it against the wall.
Oh, and it was damaging the wall?
And you had fans on the other side of the wall if you didn't have a guy that was great at it.
Well, teach him a life's lesson for crap.
Oh, you know what's funny
Part of
now?
the game. Okay, here we
They're
go.
lawyers now.
And he's still around. He's one of the 68 Tigers is still around. Denny McClain.
Oh dear.
When he was, he didn't get shitty until he got traded to the Senators. He was always a good pitcher for the Tigers.
And we'd like to thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We got Aurelio Rodriguez out of that.
And Eddie Brinkman.
Eddie Brinkman. We got
Eddie
2 great
Brinkman.
players out of that. And
we got what's his name? Oh, Bupkis is what we got.
Yeah.
we can always count on the Senators.
Well, Kansas City was like the New York Yankees minor league team. I mean, they would just send guys. There's a famous picture in the in the Kansas City, what was it? Kansas City A's
Yeah.
yearbook. And Don Larson, who had pitched a perfect game 3 years before, 3 years, was traded to Kansas City. And it shows Larson's photo when he's Kansas City. I hope I can do this. This is what he looks like. Okay, like thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, what a franchise that is! Philadelphia, Kansas City, Oakland, and now Las Vegas.
Yep.
Hmm.
By the way, speaking of Las Vegas, how about them Chiefs?
Wow, they're tanking.
Yeah. What
Oh,
is it?
boy.
They're still going to make the playoffs, but geez,
Are they?
I think
They're
there's
8
some
and 6.
internal.
Mark,
well, look, who are they playing? They don't have any games left, do they? Really?
they've
two
got
games.
3 games left. That's 14 games. There's 3 left.
No, we've played 15. We only have 2 left.
They're
Yeah,
8 and 6,
4.
but they're 8 and 6.
Well, why didn't they play this weekend?
They played Vegas.
Well, they
And
should
got
have.
their
They
butts
should have.
handed
They
to
should
them.
have 15 games then.
I think they're 8 and 6. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they're 8 and 6. So let's say they're 8 and 7. They still have 2 games left.
He's
Yeah.
fact checking.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
you know what? There's not. Well, we'll see.
I mean, if
they could fall out. They could fall out, but I
Hey,
doubt it.
but
when you
but-
read that they were playing Vegas, you didn't say to yourself, "All right, they'll beat them."
Yeah, I did say that.
They're not
Well,
good. They're
I
not
know
good.
our dear Lions.
You know what it
have,
is? It's Taylor.
They haven't accepted Christ into their life as their
No.
personal savior.
It's Taylor Swift. It's the Taylor
Oh,
Swift.
come on.
Taylor Swift effect. Yeah.
That's what it is. That Taylor booty's got them boys going crazy.
Well,
The Kansas City Chiefs. Let me see where they're at in the playoff standings.
What
here.
these?
They're still at the head of their division. They still have a home game.
God, that's like the Saints.
They're 9-6.
Oh, they're 9 and 6. Okay.
Yep, and they only drop if they lose 2 and Jacksonville wins 2. So they've got to lose 2 and Jacksonville's got to win 2.
And
So
Jacksonville is dead because what's his name he's completely injured.
the closest now that's only dropping in the rankings. They're still going to win their division. The closest team to them in their own division is Las Vegas at 7-8.
How about this? What do you think of this scenario? They get to the playoffs, they lose in the first round, and they get beat bad. You got that?
Right.
All right.
And then Andy Reid becomes the new coach of the Washington Commanders
Ooh.
because he sees this team is on the decline.
Who's Taylor Swift going to date on the Commanders though?
Anybody she wants. By the way, under the category of, ooh, I think she means business. What's her name? That woman who was with Fox News, Megan
Kelly?
Megyn Kelly.
Megyn Kelly. This is the statement she came out with. I laughed so hard. She goes, I think that all teenagers should boycott Taylor Swift because she held a fundraiser for the people in Gaza who have been bombed. I want them all to, and the teenagers are going, who's this bitch?
Did a teenager even hear that? I mean, did a teenager, anyone, singular?
Yeah, I mean, here's the other one. She said she was thrilled that the Megan, whatever her name is, Megyn Kelly. She said she was thrilled that the U.S. women's soccer team lost because Taylor Rapinoe knelt.
Megan
No.
Rapinoe.
And that's not why she's thrilled they lost. You don't like Megan Rapinoe because she's gay. That's why you don't like her.
Well, the woman.
Maybe that's why she doesn't like her kneeling.
Folks.
Oh.
Maybe she had a bad experience. Who
Well,
knows?
the thing is, you keep kneeling like that, you're tired. And I hear that, Rapinoe's bushed.
Hello. We'll be here all week, ladies and gentlemen. Every Monday, well, Tuesday for the next 2 weeks, but every Monday night other than that.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Do you have a nice Christmas?
Yeah.
I did. I got very nice gifts. We're the Jews who don't give a shit. So we actually, somebody said, did you like the Hanukkah candles? I said, well, I would, but my blowtorch, it's hard to get that thing.
The Jews who don't give a shit sound like a Monty Python sketch.
I like it, though.
Did you see that thing I sent you about the closed caption?
With the Arab having the
how funny is that?
That is so funny. That is so funny. I should see if I could bring that up.
I went to the bloody American University in Cairo. I speak. Oh, really? Here, now you speak. See, there's no subtitles. Oh, it's just me.
Very funny.
It's
very funny. That's one of the funniest things I've seen.
I actually thought that was Monty Python.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, you saw the Donald Trump posting, right?
The go to hell one? What? No, not.
No,
Which
rot
one?
in hell.
There's so
Rot in hell.
many.
That rot in hell.
And they asked Robert Reich about it, and he said, this is obviously a person who is approaching dementia. And he wasn't being funny. He meant it.
Well, then we wouldn't even really know the difference between the present occupant as opposed to the prospective one. But
you would, because the present one hasn't raped a woman.
Yeah.
Grab them by
The present one hasn't started a riot. They got 5 cops killed.
Yeah.
No. That would have been Barack Obama who said, "Go out there and do what you want," and got 4 cops
and all those
shot.
white people who stormed the Capitol from Black Lives Matter. Get the fuck out of here, please. Stop it now. Stop the insanity. You've got a dickless coward who went to the.
Let's not forget the staffer who said that Joe finger banged her up against the wall.
Is that what we have to do? We have to resort to staffers, because we can't talk about Trump.
God forbid, because we all know that if they have a D in front of their name, they're all saints. Whereas if
I didn't say I didn't say
minions
that.
of
But you're
Satan.
talking about staffers, and I'm talking about the guy that some of the brain dead in your party want to reelect. No, there's a big
all
difference.
Brain dead in the party, Sam. Would you please be a little more specific?
He's talking about the guy whose face is orange.
Well, yeah.
Arthur Godfrey is running.
Arthur Godfrey.
Thank you.
You've got to remember, this is the Republican Party. This is the Washington General of politics. I mean,
That's true. Oh, and by the way,
The Washington Generals of power.
under the category of, are you ever going to stop kissing his ass? Lindsey Graham today defended Trump.
well, of course he did. Those two got a thing going on. I mean, that's been going on for years.
You know what he said?
Yeah,
They asked Graham why he does it. He says, I love being in his world. And what that means is he doesn't have to pay greens fees.
Historically,
he's going.
people kissed up to Herod.
What now?
People kissed up to Herod. They kowtowed to King Herod, and when he had his son turn 19 for his birthday, he had him executed.
Wow, that's very Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, Herod,
And-
Herod
and,
slaughtered all the babies aged 2
Kim
and
Jong
under
Kim
just to
Jong
try and
Shun.
get baby Jesus.
Well, I didn't know they had Planned Parenthood back in old Israel.
Yeah, but the pills were huge,
Yeah,
like the size of a $50.
yeah.
Swallow this. This will
I don't
kill
even know why that's
That's
funny, but it is.
It is funny.
So,
It's exaggerate. It's the what you're doing is you're putting the image in our head of something very huge.
yes.
Listen, I'll tell you what. Instead of taking this, just empty out. Come on, what do you say?
Call it the diarrhea solution. There we go.
Well, you
Oh
know,
my
I mean,
God, that's true.
oh.
Well, Andy was
I just read
Andy was
Nikki
selling this
Haley-
like 175 years ago. It was the quilt circles that
Oh, yeah.
performing the abortions.
There
I
was
need
a-
to fact check that. I'm not sure that's true.
The quilt circle.
Well, it's like there was just basically there women with quilts, and it was about talking about like the 1860s. They actually had
That sounds like a
there was an
Quaker punk
herb
rock
that they were
band.
able to put together that would actually help to induce an abortion.
I thought because they had needles.
There was also an herb that helped them get.
Well, that's a city. That's a city in California.
Yeah. Let's say.
Needles,
Needles.
California.
Needles,
It's right at the border of Nevada and
I
California.
know, but that's where Marlon Brando said, "What do you got?" You know.
No,
What are we
remember
going
in the
against?
song, it was a song, I've Never Been to Spain by Three Dog Night, only made as far as Needles.
Got it.
That's a
No,
great
I
song.
think Needles was a town where that revolt took place. That they made the movie about the young, the young rebels, the young ones.
Are there old
Rebel
rebels?
Without a Cause was based on a true story, and I think the true story was in Needles, California. Took over by the motorcycle groups.
We were World War II veterans.
Everybody, all the stars of that movie died tragically.
Oh wow!
James
Lee Marvin
Dean,
was in
Sal
that movie.
Mineo, and Natalie Wood.
Now,
No, that was-
guys,
No,
I
that
get
was
this
the
confused.
Wild
Is this
Ones
the Marlon
was
Brando, or is this the Marlon Brando movie, or the other one?
yeah, it was the Marlon
No,
Brando.
Rebel Without a Cause was James Dean.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
all
all right, wrong name. I'm sorry about that.
James
it was the Wild
Dean.
Ones with Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Although
Yep.
Jim Backus took a shot to the head, but he survived.
Well,
He's right. That's why he became very good. I
Why he was
put out the
good.
wrong name. It was actually the Wild Ones with Marlon Brando. As
No
the
one has
motorcycle-
ever looked less like a thug than Marlon Brando in that movie.
Yeah, but Lee Marvin's in it. If memory
Oh, Lee
serves.
Marvin always looks dangerous,
Lee
but
Marvin
yes.
was great.
Lee Marvin's
but
great.
when he there's a scene, I always imagine him during the break going, "This jacket doesn't fit good at all. I can't
I keep getting
can't
bugs.
move around
I
in
get
it.
bugs in my mouth if I'm trying. I keep getting bugs every time I go
I can't do this." And these
Sounds more like
sunglasses,
Truman Capote.
these sunglasses are pinching the bridge of my
You're getting
nose.
the same bugs I get. I don't understand what's going on. I really don't.
Stella!
Speaking of Lee Marvin, did you ever see Bad Day at Black Rock?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that scene where Spencer Tracy beats the shit out of Ernest Borgnine with one arm.
Yeah, it was a good
Oh.
scene.
God, but
Yeah, good. Yeah, they would never let two good-looking actors beat each other up.
Oh no,
Well, Lee Marvin
Robert
and
Ryan.
Ernest Borgnine
that's a
in
hell of a
the,
cast.
Emperor
Robert
of the
Ryan,
North.
Ernest Borgnine, Dean Jagger,
Mm-hmm.
God.
Anne Francis,
Oh, yeah.
God.
and of course
Wasn't
Leif
she-
Erikson.
Wasn't she great in Forbidden Planet?
She was.
Yes.
Francis.
Was she?
I'll say.
And
With
Walter
Leslie
Pidgeon-
Nielsen.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Walter Pidgeon acting like he had never sampled forbidden fruits. Yeah, right. You know.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, she's my
Who
niece.
played
If all of you
played
could
the
turn
cook?
your heads, what?
who played the cook in that? That was
That was Earl Holliman.
Earl Holliman. Yeah, he was
Right.
the cook with Robbie the robot.
Right. In
I
between
always
blowing
wondered about,
dudes outside
Earl.
the studio.
You know, never got married, and no hint of anybody, and no guy, just nothing.
Which one?
Earl Holliman.
Faggot.
Yeah.
Big
What?
time faggot. Big time faggot. Yep.
Earl Holliman?
Earl Holliman.
Not only
Big
was he, not only that, but that was the title of his autobiography.
Yeah, well, yeah. At least when you title it that way, you take the surprise away, right?
You know-
I mean, You know what
What-
you're getting from
Yeah.
page one.
When I
Spoiler
worked-
alert.
When I
No,
worked,
then you open up the book and you find
All
out
right,
it's
here.
about cigarettes.
Good. Let me do a mute
Yeah,
here.
yeah, you know.
when
no,
I
he
worked
was-
with Soupy Sales, I asked him, "Who are some of the nicest?" I'll never forget this. Who are some of the nicest people you've ever worked with in Hollywood? And he goes, "Oh, right off the top of the list." He goes, "Will Geer, just such a kind, thoughtful man. Big." And he goes
another
like this. He goes, "Kind, thoughtful man, big fag, but really
Yep.
the nicest."
married, wife, kids, but yeah, big old.
Was
big
he? Did he
old-
get married?
I believe he had kids. I know
Well,
that.
I always thought it was great irony that Grandpa and Grandma Walton were both gay.
Well, it doesn't surprise me with Ellen Corby. Let's face it. I mean,
Yeah, she
May-
looked like she was in the Green Berets. I mean,
exactly. I mean, you could see her and Jane Hathaway from the Beverly Hillbillies definitely doing one of these like twisted sort of like hot wax things. Maybe I'm getting a little too specific.
playing for
but-
that soul band, Dyke and the Blazers.
That's a great segue too from
Dyke and the Blazers.
John Boy to Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You
as
know-
a kid, I had a thing for John Boy, but strangely, he turned out to be straight.
Oh yeah, like 6 o'clock.
Oh yeah, and Brad
Gear-
Williams, on the other hand, he the guy who played Willard, he was another one who,
Who?
sort of.
Gear,
Was
Will-
it Brad? What was his name? Brad Williams? No, the guy he played Willard. He, you know who I'm talking about. He wasn't Brad Davis. That was the.
Brad
that was it.
Dourif?
No, that's not right. He was the lead in Willard. Come on, we should know
Mark
this.
wants
I never
to
saw
know who was
Willard.
in something.
Oh, pity. Then you didn't get to see the part where Ernest Borgnine gets eaten by the rats.
I told you the story about that, right?
Yeah. That's
That
it.
that Ethel Merman went to see
Ethel
that movie,
Merman's
and as soon
favorite
as he
part.
got eaten, she would get up and leave. And she saw it for 6 weeks in a row.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had a thing for tall blonde dudes with sort of like that
Who?
Jeffrey Dahmer thing before Jeffrey Dahmer was a thing. I said,
Who'd you have a thing for?
for tall blonde
His
dudes
type
in,
is-
in the movies. That was
Well,
sort of
did you
my-
ever see? Did you ever see the? It was on recently. The biopic about Tab Hunter.
Well, I heard stories about Tab Hunter off and on, and what's his name? Dana Gould bought Roddy McDowell's old house, and he said I went around the house and I had Tab Hunter DNA all over the place. So
It's a
It's
funny
not-
thing about Tab Hunter.
yes,
It doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. There will be somebody in Hollywood to say something bad about you.
right.
No one had a bad word to say about him. They
Yeah.
just all thought he was a really nice
Well,
guy, easy to work with.
Randolph Scott lived with a guy, and I can't remember who it was, but it was a fairly prominent actor. They lived together for years.
Cary Grant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Cary Grant.
They were.
And I'll tell you the funniest story about Randolph Scott. This is one of these stories that I don't care if it's true. It's funny. The
Right.
story is that Randolph Scott, they had to use a stunt double for every fight scene because he fought like this.
Yeah,
They
that
couldn't get him to put up his dukes.
that was Randolph Scott.
Yes, and another thing, when they lived together, they were making in Hollywood what was a king's ransom at the time. Cary
Wow.
Grant was a star. He's making like now
Dude,
this isn't much now, but he was making like 50,000 a month.
Yeah, big
A
money.
mansion cost 40,000 back then.
No, I remember he was part of the studio system. He was in that last
Right.
vestige.
You do
of
it for Randolph Scott.
You do it for Randolph Scott.
Randolph
Scott.
And it was of all people, it was Robert Reed was one of the litigants who helped bring the studio system to an end.
Yes.
and
I think, I
you
heard
wouldn't
that.
think Robert.
He did die. He died of AIDS.
Yes, and after turning into a woman on Medical Center.
Yes,
by the way, I
I
saw
saw
that.
that episode.
I
Yeah.
saw that
I
episode.
thought it was Marcus
and
Welby, but okay.
I thought to
Yeah.
myself, this
Well,
is
I
the
went on a Will Geer hunt. You want the?
Oh my God!
This is the
okay.
best looking man and the best looking man and unattractive woman in the history of film.
Yeah.
That
Here's
Robert
Mark's
Reed transition.
Here's my Will Geer information. He was married
Okay.
in 1934 to actress Herta Ware. The two of them had 3 children. They were divorced
Okay.
in 54, but
It's a
returned.
long marriage.
It was 20 years, but then in 1973 returned to become a couple again, although they never remarried.
Well, they were.
Oh, wait a minute! Now,
They were
Best
now
friends.
for Jason's team,
Yes.
Jason's team.
My
For-
team. Yes,
for-
thank
Does
you.
that come with shirts?
for Jason's team,
Yes,
he was close friends
friends.
with gay activist Harry Hay as a
Yes.
young man. They were both labor organizers in the 30s. Gere was blacklisted for not naming names during the.
God bless him.
Yep.
But he steals the show in cold blood, playing the prosecutor.
Yep.
Absolutely steals the
Yep.
show. And in a movie that's full of great performances. And by the way, you said Marcus Welby. The big Marcus Welby episode was the one where Ronnie Howard was sodomized by his gym coach. You know, that show also, believe it or not, Marcus
Worst
Welby
commercial break ever.
Well, I guess there's a reason why he was all grown up
Opie.
at that point. Yeah, Opie was sodomized by his gym coach on Marcus Welby.
You know
And
that
Marcus
Paul
went
Newman.
after the dude.
Will
know?
Gere,
Newman
Will
wanted to
Gere,
make
and
a
Woody
movie.
Guthrie. Well, get this, Will Gere, and he met his wife in New York, where he had gone, but he had moved to California with Woody Guthrie, or
That
from
doesn't
California.
surprise me.
Woody Guthrie and Will Gere both moved from California. to
Wow.
New York.
So they wrote the song "This Gland Is Your Gland."
Oh, God.
Are you going to cover any of these stories?
Susan wants me to cover her
I
topics.
just wondered because Mark never gives me the topics, or rarely gives me the topics for the poem.
Let me see. We already talked to Santa.
I talked about everything. There's war.
Paul Whelan. Anybody want? What about the Paul Whelan thing? Hey,
He's not getting out anytime soon. There's nothing to talk about because there's no negotiations.
Yeah.
Who is that? The American who's over in Russia?
Yes.
He's the guy. He was
He feels
the.
forgotten.
I'll let Susan talk about it.
Yeah.
She wanted to bring it up.
I said he feels forgotten.
Susan, is that the guy who's from Detroit area?
Yes.
Yeah, he called several news outlets. On Christmas Day. That's what he did with his phone call time.
Okay. Yeah.
See, if I didn't know any of you guys, I would say he was offered a chance to come to leave, and he said, "Does this mean I have to go back to Detroit? I'm good."
All right.
No, he wants to get out of there.
Well, of course he does. And Navalny, the Russian, is now in prison in the Arctic Circle.
Yep, he's in the Siberia we always hear about.
Now, is that the guy who was the head of the Strategic Rocket Forces? I'm a little behind.
No.
No.
That's the guy that you're thinking about. The guy who
He was gonna run against Putin, but they disqualified his.
The guy
Okay.
you're thinking of, Jason, was the guy that Putin had killed.
Well, there was a gentleman very recently who was the head of the Strategic Rocket Forces.
That's
and
him.
He was removed from office. And the thing that makes this worrisome is that in the Russian system, it's not one person, it's three people that have to vote to start a nuclear war. They each have their own football. It's the Putin, the head of the Strategic Rocket Forces, and another person who's essentially the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
That's
All
one of
three
the
have
things
their
that
own
terrifies
football.
me most about Trump when he said, "Well, if we have nuclear weapons, why can't we use them?"
Oh,
Well, the thing is, in the Soviet or in Russia now, Putin has essentially collected all three of those footballs now. He is now the unitary force that can launch a nuclear, because those have to be independently tied into a system, and then they all have to be activated together in order to initiate a nuclear strike.
They always ask him, "Are you worried about any candidate getting so popular that they'll beat you?" And he says, "We'll open that window when we get to it."
Ladies and gentlemen,
There you go. They'll be
I don't want to be pushy.
Anything else?
Vladimir
wants to get back to the list.
Defenestration.
What about the pay gap for women?
Oh, the pay gap
Not
for women.
really good news.
The
They
pay
ran
gap for women shrunk a tiny bit this year.
Yeah,
So what is it now?
like 80 cents on the dollar for
God,
men.
I remember when it was 59 cents. I mean, 80 still sucks, but
Yeah.
80 beats 59.
You know where it's going to get there when everybody's used to having a female boss.
I love having a female boss.
I don't think I've ever had anything but female boss. Oh no, wait, I take that back.
No, let me tell you what happened. So I go to apply for this job at Eastern Michigan University, right?
Oh, those guys didn't know about
you
that.
told us about
You told Sue and I. I don't think you told Andy and.
I
So tell
applied
us
for a
your
job
story.
as a radio reporter and anchorman at EMU, the radio station, the NPR.
WEMU, yeah.
Yeah,
You'd be
so
great
get
there.
this. When you apply, I hate this, by the way. They say, this is your code. Fill in this number. So I fill in the number, and immediately it says, this code is no longer good. You've just been mailed a new code on Gmail. Go to Gmail. I go to Gmail. I swear to God, in 5 seconds I get it. I go back. I put it in. This isn't working. And I go, you know, why do we do this? Are you trying to see how tough I am? So I called EMU today. I called them at 10:30 in the morning. There was no one live answered the phone.
No.
It was all, you know.
It's Boxing Day here at Eastern.
and if I hear one more, this call may be monitored. I don't give a shit. I'm not threatening World War III
yet.
The lawyers have them put that in. Some states require 2-party consent to record a call, and so if they've notified you, they've.
Well, I'm going to call them, and this is what I'm going to say. Listen, this thing isn't working. How about if I just send you my my resume, and I get the guy who's going to give me a recommendation, and he'll send you a letter. How about that? Oh, that's not how we do things. Yeah, but your things aren't working. And as I'm talking, if this happens, as I will be talking, I'll say, I'm not getting this job. Because they're telling me this is the way we do things. And I'm telling them, well, the way you do things doesn't work. But it doesn't.
Which is a pity, because EMU is one of the best public radios. It's one of the best radio stations.
Oh, no, it's a great radio
around.
station. But their methods of securing employment are shit.
I mean, DET, again, even though it's quote unquote public, it's still a great radio station.
No,
it's amazing.
WAMU in DC is a great station. Oh, you'll love this. I go to interview at WAMU. This is years ago, right? And they asked me to submit a tape. Now, I know how public radio works, and I know the kind of timbre they want in your voice. So this was me doing a 5-minute piece. Today we're going to be talking about the balance of payments and they said I was too edgy.
You needed to talk about sweaty balls.
Sweaty balls, yeah.
I love those sweaty balls.
balls.
Yeah, I like the one they did with Betty White.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Her muffins.
Your muffins would be
My
dry.
muffin has
Yes.
cherry.
It's incredibly moist.
because she said she was such a pro. He didn't crack either. Alec Baldwin didn't crack either, but she didn't crack. That's one of the things I hate about Jimmy Fallon. When he was on Saturday Night Live, he was always cracking up. And this thing about, well, it's so funny. You're a professional performer.
Yeah.
Get some discipline.
Character, yeah.
That's one of the reasons I hated Carol Burnett's show. They've rehearsed these goddamn things 6 times. You're cracking up. It's horseshit. Horseshit.
Yeah, but Tim
there's that
Conway was a
famous
master
scene with
at tormenting those guys.
What's her name? Vicki
Lawrence.
Vicki Lawrence, where they said, he's going to do the elephant story different every time.
Yes.
But she finally said, "Is he done yet?"
I don't understand that lack of discipline. It's so funny.
But she
I
stayed in
don't believe
character.
it. I just don't believe
funny.
it.
Vicki Lawrence stayed in
A lot of that
character.
was put on, though.
Huh?
A lot of that laughing was put on.
That's what I'm saying. It's so funny. I can't help myself. Oh, shut up, please. And I can't remember who the actor was, but he said he would never, ever, ever work with Carol Burnett.
Aww.
And I never noticed this. He said because she made a habit of making fun of really old people. He wasn't old, by the way. He said it was such a mean-spirited way of doing it. And I never noticed that.
I'm sorry
neither
to
did
hear
I.
that because I love Carol Burnett.
In what's his name's new book, Cliff Nesteroff. He wrote The Comedians, and now he's got this new one about the comedy and the social wars, about how it's not new. All these people being offended by material and stuff because that's as old as comedy. But anyway, he was looking at some old clips from people, and one of them he saw there was an article about Carol Burnett shared her letters, and she shared some letters from people that gave her hell about making fun of old people. I'll never watch your show again, and he talks about it in his latest book.
Yeah, And she would always respond with, "I'll find out where you live and I'll kill your grandmother, you fuck." So that really didn't help.
Well, and her defense of that was, I don't think I make fun of. I think I honor old people because she was raised by her grandmother. She grew up in Hollywood.
Probably hated her.
Probably. That's why she got so funny.
That's right.
Did Andy announce his departure? I know we got a phone call, and then
no,
he muted, but then he just took off.
Wait. Back to Carol Burnett. She wasn't just raised by her grandmother, but when her baby sister was born, she actually became her guardian and raised her baby.
Weren't her parents raging alcoholics, if memory serves?
Something like that.
That's one of my favorite expressions. Raging alcoholic. It's not bad enough you're drunk. You got to scream.
But all right, so Carol Burnett was self-made, and and
So is
then
Robbie the
also
Rogue.
raised in kinship care, and then turned around and paid it forward, raising her own little sister. So there's a lot of respect there, and she certainly wasn't Don Rickles, like nasty.
Yeah, but everybody knew Don Rickles was kidding. Don Rickles did it to be kidding. She did it. Listen, I never even noticed it, but I'm just saying, she did it like I'm lancing these people. I'm making them the object of derision. I
went out there for an Igby's reunion out to LA a number of years ago.
On Tennessee Avenue?
That one, the same. It's a strip club now, but we were at the
Of course it is.
We were at the Santa
on
Monica
both floors.
Park. But anyway, we all talked. What's his name? Don Rickles was going to be playing.
Who?
Don Rickles was going to be playing at the Civic Auditorium out in Palm Springs.
Uh-huh.
And we said, well, there'll be seats for that. I mean, it's a huge auditorium.
Right.
It's not going to attract a lot of young people. So we all talked about going out there. And everybody, one by one, people go, they're looking at their phones or watches or whatever. Everybody goes, and I was all for it. I was out there for other stuff anyway. And it was a day that I could make it. I'm in. I'll go. And we were all going to go out there, carpool out there and see Don Rickles. And he was dead within a year. We all regretted it after that.
Yeah.
That he died, or that you?
They ended up not going.
We ended up not going. To see that because he was working at the time. He was working once a week.
Mm-hmm.
He was going all over the country. He was here.
Well, I just read that Johnny Mathis, who's 87, works 50 to 60 gigs a year.
Are you serious, Johnny?
Yeah.
Mathis?
Now, if I don't see him, I've seen him before. So if I don't see him, I won't be that upset. But Johnny Mathis, I've seen him, but I never got chances. I never got a chance.
My mother would come back from beyond the grave to see Jay. She used to go. She'd put on his records and say, "He sings so good, he makes me wet in front." And I'm like,
wow, TMI, Mom.
Well, that was kind of my reaction. But that was the house I grew up in. Well, I grew up around raging alcoholics too, and
I remember when he was on the Dick Clark show. Did I tell you this? And
wasn't he like in the 1960 Olympics or? 50,
he was a high jumper.
Yeah.
But they asked him. Dick Clark asked him, "Do you have?" I think it was 56, because by 62 he was making hits. Anyway, so they asked him. This girl said, "Do you have any girlfriends?" And he said, "I have many friends, and some of them are girls." And I thought he answered her, but he didn't say, "I have a girlfriend." So it's like he was like actually telling people, "No, this is." And Dick Clark goes, like, "Oh, you're a real stud." No, that's not what he meant. That's
Mark's giving me directions.
Sue's. All right, I'm gonna turn the music on. Sue wants to play us out here. Well, that's been the off night for another week here. Tonight on Tuesday night because, we had the holidays. And we're going to do Tuesday night next week, too. Other than that, we're every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock if you're on the West Coast. Hey, West Coast comics, buzz me. I want to get you guys back on the show. We used to have West Coast comics all the time when I did the show with Seth. It'd be great if we get you back out here. I know 5 o'clock is a tough hour to get you on, but if you can make it, we'd love to have you.
Screw Ocasio-Cortez. That's for you, Jason.
There you go. We got Sam Greenfield, Jason Grant. Earlier we had Andy Jensen. Andy and Jason will both be at our New Year's Eve show.
And Santa Claus.
And Santa Claus at the Ale House in Ypsilanti. And we may start seeing Sam there because he applied for a job at WEMU.
Yep.
Hopefully he'll get that, and we'll have
Here's
him
how
on
you
our
know
Sunday.
Sam. This is how you know Sam has changed. Hey, you want to come out to the show tonight? You know, I have a faculty meeting, and
Happy New Year, everybody.
I don't want people
Happy New
to
Year.
find out.
Show next week.
Yes. See you.